What's going on, melon farmers? D-Mac here with a little NHL 22 wish list kind of ish video. Me personally, I am a huge player of franchise mode. I'm a huge player of Be a Pro. Those are the two main modes that I play. They're the main modes that I record for this YouTube channel that you all seem to enjoy, and I'm very glad that you do. So here's some things. The first thing I want to start off with too, kind of spitballing a little bit here. It's not something that they've ever really talked about, but I think personally, this is an idea I had that I think could actually really take Be a Pro to the next level when it comes to NHL 22's Be a Pro, or even maybe NHL 23's Be a Pro. Anyway, before we get into it, don't forget to scroll down, hit that like button, and subscribe for new videos coming all the freaking time. So the reason why we're here in this franchise mode, this is just kind of a franchise mode I built. So what I'm going to do is go into, say, player search. And this is something I think that they could really add. You know what? We're just going to say forward, first line forward, playmaker. There you go. So we'll just hit search. We'll go into first line playmakers. Now look, see, imagine if you're in your Be a Pro, you have the option to go to your agent and you can talk to your agent about maybe whether or not you want to come back to your current team or you want to move on, test free agency, and maybe go to another team. This could be something really interesting that you and your agent could do if you had a more interactive agent. Okay, so imagine all of the players in this list are actually teams. So let's just say you're looking at the number one is the Edmonton Oilers, Buffalo Sabres, Colorado Avalanche, Pittsburgh Penguins. So I'll click the right stick on this team. Instead of it saying Connor McDavid, it can just say something else like franchise overview or something like that. And then you get something like this. You're being scouted you would be scouted for their first line, their first power play, and their four-man power play for the Edmonton Oilers. But then you go and you go down to where you would fit on that team and it says none. Okay, so if you are dead set that you want to go to the Edmonton Oilers, you don't exactly fit there. Now you can still go to the Edmonton Oilers, but you're not going to get any kind of like attribute bonus or line chemistry bonus. And your points might suffer because you don't fit on that team. Then you'll go down, say, to the Buffalo Sabres. You'll go and check none. Okay, hold on. So you go down to the Colorado Avalanche. Boom, you fit line one. Okay, so if I went to the Colorado Avalanche, maybe I don't fit so well on their power play or their penalty kill, but say I fit really, really well on their first forward line. So I tell my agent in the offseason, coming to the re-sign phase, or going to free agency, you know what? I want to go to the Colorado Avalanche. Now you could look at their lineup or whatever, and you can look at their cap situation just to make it a little more in-depth, make the salary cap matter. You go to your agent and say, I want to see if you can get me a contract offer from the Colorado Avalanche. And if they offer you a contract and you go to their team, you fit really, really well on their first line. So then you can go to view lines, say once you're on the Colorado Avalanche, and you've got a +5 suddenly on that top line. Say you're this guy, Thatcher Lewis. Let's just say you're Thatcher Lewis, 84 overall. You get on that top line, you are 89 overall, medium elite. Or, high elite now or something. You fit really well on that top line. It could just be something so simple as that, and you could actually have like line chemistry bonuses, and I think it would just add a whole new layer of depth to this Be a Pro mode, where they said, we're getting a revamped Be a Pro for NHL 21. It's going to be great. And there was a couple of cutscenes and not really much else. There was a couple endorsement deals, but they were all stupid. And you'd get an endorsement deal from a clothing brand called Clothing Brand, that would Clothing Brand Clothing wants to offer you an endorsement contract, and they give you 75 grand and you never hear about it again. So it was kind of for something revamped and something they claim they put a lot of work into. It still was very much like an empty shell. And the next thing I wanted to talk about the Be a Pro. So anyway, let me know in the comment section down below. First of all, let me know in the comment section down below what you would think of something, if they would add something like that to Be a Pro. Would that be something that would get you guys excited? Do you think that would add another layer of depth to Be a Pro? Do you think that could be kind of a game changer? Because honestly, the more I think about it, the more I think Something like that could be kind of a game changer. If you added line chemistry and added like you and your agent can scout teams and say, what do they have? What do they need? Where would I fit on this team? And if it said like, you would fit the top line on this team like perfectly, right? You would fit so well on this top line. You get into that team, you look at your lineup, you could have like a +5. So instead of you being an 84 overall medium elite 20-year-old, you could be like an 89 overall medium elite 20-year-old, It would just take all of your stats and just amplify them until you were 89 overall, And then if you left that team, you're still going to grow naturally. But if you left that team and went to a team that you really, really love but maybe don't fit on, boom, now you're back down to an 84. And if you really don't fit on that team and you get like a -3 or something, it's like instead of an 84 overall, now you're an 81 overall medium elite player. So it's kind of like you don't fit there, but you really wanted to go there. So it's kind of like you're playing at a disadvantage, Your stats aren't as good. You're not going to find as many opportunities as you normally would if you were on a team where you really fit in with the coach's scheme and you fit in with the players on the team and stuff. I think that would add such a huge layer of depth to the game. And I honestly don't think it would be that tough to implement because you've already essentially got it in franchise mode. I have been saying for probably 3 or 4 years now, the best way that EA could fix Be a Pro is if they made it more like franchise mode. Anyway, the next thing for Be a Pro is most certainly contract extensions and contract negotiations. I should be able to go to my agent, say I am Mario Ferraro, baby. Say I'm Mario Ferraro. I go to my agent and say, I want a contract extension. Now, when you are coming up for a new contract or say you wanted an extension, anything like that, this should be more or less the screen that pops up for you, right? But this, instead of what you want to offer, this could be some kind of a thing, and you could even have the cap space thing beside it. You could say, you know what, I want a 4-year deal and I want $2 million. And then up above, you could say, here's what the team wants to offer you, and here's what the team wants to pay you. And you can negotiate from there. So say it's like 3 years, say the team wants to offer me 3 years at $1.85 million. So the whole top half of this, underneath my name, which is Mario Ferraro, this whole top half is what the team wants to offer me. And down here, where I'm moving this thingamadoodle-bop here, this thing down here is what, like the counter offer that I am going to send my team. That is how simple this could be. So they say they want to offer me 3 years at 1.85. Say I'm playing on my favorite team in the world. I'm like, nah, man, I want an 8-year deal. But I want an 8-year deal and I want $3 million a year. Okay, so we send that kind of offer in, right? And then the other team comes back and says, we'll meet you in the middle. We'll offer you 5 years at 2.1. I say, make it 6 years and make it 2.4. And you got yourself a deal, And then you can meet in the middle there somewhere. And the exact same thing could be for extension dollars and stuff too, right? That would make life so much easier. And it wouldn't be hard to implement because, again, in franchise mode, you've already essentially got it. All you have to do is change some of the wording, change just a couple little things, and it's that simple. And I think if you were to implement those two things, you could that could be a complete game changer for Be a Pro. It would be so much more in depth if we had line chemistry, an actual cap. The cap actually mattered. You had contract extensions, you had line chemistry, stuff like that. You could have bonuses like that. Like if you go on a team where you fit really, really well, you could get a +5 on your line chemistry. And, it's what is baffling to me is that we don't already have this. Anyway, honestly, there's not too much that I would really change about franchise mode. Because after NHL 20, I feel like they really, really upped franchise mode pretty damn well, and it became an incredibly deep and very rewarding kind of system in my eyes. And I honestly think that NHL 20's franchise mode might actually be a little better than NHL 21's. I know the trade deadline is a pretty cool thing. but it also has its flaws. Like if you set yourself to buyer, you don't even try to make a trade happen because you're going to get interrupted every 5 seconds until noon. You will not be able to get a trade happening. You'll just be getting offer after offer after offer. And as soon as you get interrupted, it kicks you right out of the trade negotiations you're having with another team. So here's one way that you could probably fix that a little bit at the trade deadline. Go back to the way it was in NHL 14 where you had all those different phones. You remember that? All those different phones that you had. And at the trade deadline, you go in. If a team offers you a contract, one of your, say, 5 phone rings. Your phones start ringing. You are in the middle of negotiating a trade with another team and your phone rings. You can just let that sit there and you can answer that in a minute. And now you're still negotiating, another phone rings. Okay, well, we're still negotiating now. Another phone rings, another phone rings, another phone rings. You got like 5 phone calls while you're making this trade happen. So you hit proposed trade, they accept it. Now, if anybody was offering anything that was involved in that trade, those trades automatically go away. Your phone is down to, say, 2 out of 5 that have offers. So now you can go to your phones, check your phones, see what the other offers were, and you can either exit trade or decline or accept or whatever the hell you want to do. Right? Does that not seem like such an easier way to do it? Let all the trade offers coming your way kind of stockpile for a little while you're negotiating with another team. Instead of, I go to, let's say we go to trade players, right? I jump in, say we're at the trade deadline right now. I jump in and I'm like, okay, I'm going to trade franchise player Darren McDonald and I'm going to try and get Alex Ovechkin. And then I go down to hit proposed trade and it's like, whoop, and it just kicks me out. And it's like, oh, they want to offer you a 7th round pick for a low fringe starter goalie prospect. It's like, great, thanks a lot. So then you go to restart, you go back to trade players, and okay, now I gotta find the team I was looking at again, which we'll say was the where the hell's Ottawa? Why can't I find? Oh, because I was the Ottawa Senators. That's why. Durr. So we go back. It's like Darren McDonald. Oops. Nope. Interrupted. Now there's another trade offer, and you haven't even gotten to the point where you're looking at the other team's players yet. It's so frustrating. If you just let them stockpile in that corner on your different phones, like NHL 14 had 8 years ago, things could be so much easier. My goodness. And the next thing with franchise mode, they claimed they fixed morale. But still, without fail, there is always at least one player, if you're simulating your franchise mode, which most people do, make simulation franchise modes, there's always at least one. You will be going through your season, you are like 40, 12, and 2. And then suddenly you'll go on a freaking 10-game losing streak. You're like, what is happening? Go to your player morale. You got like a top-line guy who suddenly hasn't gotten a point in 10 games, and his morale is in the tank. He's disengaged. He's unhappy. And your whole team will suffer because of it. Then you go and look at who it is, and it's always a 20-year-old. You drafted him 2nd overall. He's 20 years old, put up 95 points in his rookie season. Suddenly, you either trade him or tank the rest of the year. It's like, come on, man. There's always one, and it's always the least convenient player. It's always like your future superstar. Anyway, that was more of a rant than anything, but I just think those are some things that could seriously fix Be a Pro. They could fix franchise mode a little bit. I hope you guys liked my little idea there. I was thinking about it for a little while. I'm like, I don't know if I'm going to include that in the video. And then I was like, you know what? I think personally it's a great idea. So you and your agent can scout teams. And then before the re-sign phase and everything, you could kind of have a game plan. Like, you know how when Bobrovsky was like, everybody said Bobrovsky's leaving Columbus. Everybody knew it. Everyone knew Bobrovsky was leaving Columbus. And everyone in the world said, yeah, Bobrovsky, he's going to go to Florida. Long before anything had ever been said, every single person was already in agreement that Bob was going to Florida. Everyone knew it was going to happen long before it happened. And what happened? Bob went to Florida. Maybe not the greatest career call, but Bob went to Florida. Anyway. So yeah, you could scout around the league. You could find a team that you fit really, really well on. Maybe you just need a fresh start. Maybe you just, and maybe you want to just go to your favorite team. Maybe your favorite team is the Toronto Maple Leafs. You just want to go to Toronto. Even though you don't fit there, and even though they have 7 of you already on that team, it doesn't matter. It's your favorite team and you want to go there. So maybe you struggle a little bit in Toronto, but you're on your favorite team. Or you could have a weird little team like, say, the San Jose Sharks. You fit perfectly with them. You might not care too much about the Sharks, but when you go there, your career could absolutely explode because you are the perfect fit on that team with that coach, or just, and you never know. I've had it happen before. I was never a big Capitals fan, played a Be a Pro a couple years back, went to the Capitals, and they grew on me. I actually really like the Capitals now, and it was because of Be a Pro that I like the Capitals. They really grew on me. Anyway, now I'm just rambling on nonsense. Anyway, tell me what you think in the comments down below. Don't forget to hit that like button and subscribe with the bell icon for new videos coming all the freaking time. And until next time, you beautiful melon farmers, have a good one.